There's tariffs basically come from China, and the modules, are the big ones.
I'm sure all three of us have seen the impact of this with a module change happening in the last month, or projects that we were anticipating coming in, going on hold.
With the module changes that are happening, I think the downstream impact is we need to redo a lot of the effort that's already been put in.
Yep.
So I think the client might be thinking about it might be an easier lift for us, but really internally it's a lot more challenging.
It's a full redesign. All right, welcome to another edition of the Sounds of Solar podcast. This is a special edition. This is actually our final episode of season 3. Joined with me, as always, is my fantastic co-host. Who are these people?
Prahlad Shivshankran.
Russell Hamilton.
And I'm Christoph Brun, your host today for the Sounds of Solar podcast. Gentlemen, this is the last episode. We have a lot to cover. We're going to talk about the season in review, some cultural updates at EVS, all these fun events that we have. And then also we have to cover some pretty major industry news, but we'll get to that in a second. Russ, what's been happening lately?
Yeah, it's just been really busy. Industry's hot right now. A lot of stuff going on. I guess personally, some fun news is I'll be traveling to Greece at the end of this month, end of June, nice. For a couple of weeks.
What?
Yeah, I'm excited for that.
Are you tagging along with Wallen?
No, so it's funny. Wallen is getting in there the day I get back to Minneapolis.
Is Wallen does he have a connection to Greece? Because he already went there once, right?
His fiance
is
from there. So Wallen is a studies engineer on my team.
Yeah. Great guy.
Wallen.
And a bad soccer player.
He's bad?
Yeah.
How could he be bad?
I think Prady's just talking.
Oh. Prady, what's shaking in your world?
I've been traveling, not as much as Russ, but just been, I think last weekend I actually went to Stillwater, just trying to see all the local towns close by.
Yeah, so now's the time for it.
Perfect time for it. And a lot of cricket going on, so perfect weather to go play some cricket. So yeah, eagerly waiting to win this season. We're going to try. So Sohan is also part of the same team. So
Are you on the same team with Sohan?
Yeah.
Are you a bowler?
I do I used to be a bowler when I used to be fit, but now I just... now.
How are you not? What are you talking about? You're not unfit.
No, you gotta... there's a certain level of fitness to be that consistent.
Chris, what do you got going on? What's up?
Nothing. I would say the last year and a half has been very busy. Lots of travel, lots of this, lots of that. And then, as our listeners will remember, I was traveling again in March on the road for like 6 weeks, and once all of that settled down, it was just kind of like, I just can't anymore. So we don't have any plans this summer. Every weekend is open, and I'm super excited to just enter a phase of discovery and, just not do anything. It's so beautiful here, like in the Twin Cities.
North Shore.
This is, exactly. Like even that, there's a bike race this weekend up the North Shore actually it's in Cable, Wisconsin, and I just don't think I'm going to go do it because I don't even going that far is like, there's so much to do here, just in the metro. Yeah. It's like good enough right now. So I'm looking forward to just like slower pace and like enjoying what's around here. So yeah. So now with those lifestyle updates out of the way, let's get into the news item of the industry right now. This is probably the biggest news item in the industry, the tariffs on modules. Does anyone want to maybe just give a high level overview of what exactly is going on with that in the industry?
Yeah, I guess I can take a stab at it. I'm not, the political spectrum I try to stay a little bit out of, but a few years ago, y'all might remember, the president put tariffs on solar items importing to the country. I believe that got X'd, and then there was a certain time frame of when the politicians needed to come up with a solution or whatnot, and it didn't happen. And now there's tariffs on the solar stuff coming from China, and the modules, are the big ones. The modules, there's just so many on a site, and so yeah, I mean, for my, that's basically the deal. Is now there's going to be tariffs on it. And it's having some pretty big effects on projects. Our industry is very, very busy, but it can definitely, it's affecting projects in the sense of maybe they haven't procured their modules yet, and they're at a 90%.
Yeah.
And now that project could either go away because of the price increase, or, you know, there's a major redesign at 90% for other modules, owners scrambling to find modules to replace them
Right.
with.
And they're not exactly just sitting out there either. They're in super high demand already.
Yes.
I think the tariffs are also forcing clients to or owners to look at local distribution or local manufacturing. I think with the Inflation Reduction Act, the whole goal was to try to bring back manufacturing in the US. And First Solar is just a prime example of having a manufacturing facility here. So I think the tariff helps consume stuff in situ or in the US itself. So it's good, but at the same time for us as engineers, the challenge is now, okay, so now that there's a module change or sourcing change, now how does that impact the project? So
right. There's a lot at play. I mean, certainly, there's a lot of political aspects of it that we don't need to go into, but there is the transition to clean energy, decarbonization, doing that as fast as possible. That is something that is important. So waiting for manufacturing facilities to be up and running in the US is on one hand, we don't have that time luxury necessarily, but certainly, any module manufacturing that can happen here is a good thing. But we've seen, I'm sure all three of us have seen the impact of this with a module change happening in the last month, or projects that we were anticipating coming in, going on hold. Do you guys have any high level thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean,
what does that do to our workflow? How does that affect our industry, kind of thing?
Yeah, there's projects that I work on that the module change. Now the project schedule is on pause. Where we're anticipating this work between this time frame, and now it's being pushed to the right. That affects staffing, resources. Bottom line, money, right? Affects money coming in. So we're definitely seeing that, and also just trying to make sure that we are staffed correctly. I think that's the big one. Is we have projections and all these projects that we're projecting to do. Are we actually going to get to do these now in that time frame?
Yeah, and that's just us. I mean,
right.
Then think about the industry wide. I mean, how many contractors or owners are affected, and then the other suppliers that make the products that we use. It's just it's a domino effect, certainly.
Yeah, and just getting into a little bit of detail there, with the module change, if the bin class changes or if it goes higher.
What is a bin class?
It's just the wattage. It's a way to easily define what kind of module wattage that you're using or that's going to be installed.
And maybe for those that aren't familiar, it's the wattage for that solar panel.
Correct.
Individual wattage.
So a panel has think of it as multiple SKUs. I think that's what they call it. So it's different SKUs, and the bin class is sort of representing the SKU for that particular module. But yeah, with the module change or the wattage changes that are happening, I think the downstream impact is we need to look at our design now. We got to see if talk to the racking manufacturer, redo our layouts to kind of figure those things out, and then downstream effects with studies, okay, if the wattage is increasing, what do we have to do now? And redo a lot of the effort that's already been put in.
Yep.
So it's essentially, even though they may be, I think the client might be thinking about it might be an easier lift for us, but really internally it's a lot more challenging.
It's a full redesign.
And I do have a project that we're taking on where they changed the modules and the physical dimensions
That's the worst.
Yep.
They're thinking
exactly.
It might be a few inches different. It's from 12 to 18 feet different.
Yep.
And now you're talking about your billable area is
going to
now
change.
in question, and your size of your roads and where you can put stuff.
Yeah, as soon as you start doing that, the civil, I can speak to the civil structural aspect. I mean, once you change module profiles, size dimensions, your leading edge clearance, which is, we're talking about the panel at full tilt. We take things into account like the floodwater design consideration, and there are requirements to maintain a certain clearance between the leading edge. Well, as soon as you lengthen that by 1 inch, these are highly engineered projects. So 1 inch does tip the scale one way or another. Then your piles, all the driven piles on site, are getting longer. And then once you have a larger projected area of the panel, it picks up more wind load. So, and it's also potentially heavier. So if you're talking about like wind loads or seismic loads, everything needs to go into the pile, into the earth. Subsequently, it's a full redesign. So you might be able to make the design work, but like that you had before, but it's still, you're going to redo everything. So it's, module changes are not uncommon previously to this, but they certainly impact practically everything.
Yeah. I will say that there are certain owners who prepared for this and have stockpiled modules, which helps a lot, right?
Where do you put all those modules?
I couldn't even imagine where they're stored.
Dude.
Yeah. I have no idea.
You have to like buy an Amazon distribution facility and just like...
Yeah. But it might be cheaper for them to do that and store all that stuff than it is to, with the anticipation of the tariffs.
Oh man, I'm glad I don't make decisions like that. Yeah. That's too much.
Yeah.
And I think just with batteries, and I think we've seen, I was looking at some trends, and the battery projects that are coming online have started to shrink, at least for this year, beginning of this year, compared to PV. And it might also kind of come back to the main reason I think that's kind of happening is because of the tariffs that are there on the batteries itself, being where it's sourced from and that kind of deal, and the supply chain where most of the batteries are going towards EV compared to, or it's being cannibalized by the EV industry, and not going towards the energy storage space. So
will Tesla stop taking our batteries? Is that
so it's interesting how these tariffs kind of have an impact on both the PV side as well as the BESS side. So
yeah, exactly.
Because the tariffs isn't just on modules, right? It's on batteries as well. And other things. I don't know all the things that the tariff is on.
Yeah, I think anything that's imported, you'd probably say is could be subjected to that. So this is the last episode. I don't think we're going to be on break for really that long, but this
a couple months, right?
Yeah, just a couple months. Kind of take summer and regroup, but it seems like a fitting time to maybe recap like what actually happened this season. This is our first season hosting, so that was where we came from, where we are now. I think we're pretty damn good now.
And we did a live.
We did the live show,
which was pretty.
That was probably the most fun show. No disrespect to the people that have sat in this room, but like you can't beat it. It was live. Yeah. It was great.
Yeah, we had beers and everything. It was great.
Did we?
Yeah.
Oh, we didn't.
We did. Yeah.
We forced the VP to have a beer.
Yeah. That was good.
I think from episode 1, being comfortable in the setting. I've never been in front of a camera before or recorded anything like this before. So personally, just being comfortable and just not really even like thinking about that we're being recorded, I guess. And that's been nice. I've learned a lot on this season, which is great. I got to meet a lot of really cool people.
Yes.
I think some of my favorite episodes, definitely the live at Clean Power, was a lot of fun.
God, you guys, we're at Clean Power today. We're live. We're at our booth 3059. And how's it going? What was today like, Roddy?
It was good. I got my 10,000 steps in, so I'm very happy about that.
Well, how many did you actually get?
Actually,
10,001.
And I think the Dennis episode was probably one of my favorites to do as well. He's just such a genuine individual, and being able to hear about his trip, one-on-one was really cool.
Myself and 3 others biked about 250 miles from west side of South Korea to the east coast along DMZ. So that area is very mountainous. It's a lot of mountains. So it was a 9-day, ride. It was fun. It was beautiful, but it's a very, very difficult.
And then I would say the other one that was a highlight for me was when Mike McKinney was on.
Yeah.
Talked all about batteries.
Yep.
When you dive into it, when we talk about batteries in general, you've got primary and secondary, I think is a good way to start. So a primary battery is like your AA battery or a watch battery, generally something with like an alkaline chemistry that's going to degrade over time, and it's kind of one and done use. Moving into battery energy storage systems at a utility scale, it actually works on the same technology as like your smartphone battery or your laptop battery, even electric vehicles. It's all lithium ion, what we call secondary batteries, where you have lithium ions that can move back and forth between the anode and the cathode through an electrolyte and a separator. And this way, it's a repeatable process. So it can go back and forth, and it's pretty exciting stuff.
I think Mike's episode was one of my favorite as well. It was so smooth flowing, and I think a lot of external clients also who have listened to the episode, I think they got a lot out of that episode as well. So I think it was fun to do that. I felt like we could probably have spoken for 2 hours and not even know about it.
Yeah.
The Dennis episode was fun, but for me, outside of Mike's episode, like an external guest, I think the hydrogen episode was pretty cool.
With Michael Klein.
Yep. So it was insightful. I didn't even know he was talking buzzwords like power to X and whatnot. So
Ooh, skill stacking.
Skill stacking, yeah. So
That's one that I've definitely
that was valuable insight for
used.
anybody listening, for sure. Skill stacking.
The biggest advantage in my entire career, if I had one thing to give to anyone that's young looking to get into clean tech or get into renewables, is think about skill stacking. And what I mean by that is you don't have to be the greatest structural engineer or the greatest electrical engineer or the greatest developer or, any of that. You need to figure out a way to be above average in maybe some of those skills, and then find another skill to add on top of that, and then continue to add skills on top of that until you can see the entire playing field. So when you are working with a different firm or a different group, you can really understand everything that's going on.
I think those two were my favorite.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. I'm just cheating here and looking at our list of what else we did. We had Eliza on the show. We had Logan O'Grady. Remember that?
Yep.
That was great.
Logan O'Grady was
local
great.
guy, Mencia.
Yeah.
We had Dennis. We had Byron talking about water resources. There was the Mike McKinney episode. We did a whole episode about solar. It was titled "Solar Energy Mythbusters." Mythbusters.
So coal right now costs about $36 to produce 1 megawatt hour of electricity. And according to Energy News Network, solar costs $24 to produce the same amount of energy right now. So solar is becoming less expensive than coal.
Wasn't that a great show?
That was
that was a
a
fun
good show.
Shifting the energy landscape, solar's increasing dominance. So we just talked about just basically a high-level overview. I think that was one of our first episodes.
Yep.
So yeah.
Yeah, I think we went off on perovskite, right? Just imagine module changes with perovskite.
We need to, that's something we should really hit next season, because I mean, perovskite is definitely one of these things that is, it's like hydrogen. It's like, it's here, it's coming. When's it going to be here?
I really enjoyed the episode that you and I did where we just recapped a lot of.
That was maybe my favorite.
Yeah.
I wasn't on it. I just got to be a fan.
Yeah, it was fun. Talked about the Arrow Canyon.
The big one, right, that maybe folks don't know about, that's pretty huge, is the Arrow Canyon project, which we worked on, we engineered and completed. It powered the Super Bowl.
Yep.
Which is a huge, huge deal.
Yep.
By the way, I was just traveling through Las Vegas, one above it, and saw Arrow Canyon from the air.
Really?
So I was going to Burbank. Yeah, it was pretty cool. I was like, hey, there it is. It's wild to see it from 30,000 feet and recognize the layout.
Yep.
Like, oh, man, that's totally it.
That's crazy.
It was kind of cool. And
You actually recognize the layout?
yes,
That's funny.
that's sad.
I mean, if you see the site plan enough,
Yeah.
and then you see it in real life, you might.
Yeah.
You get to 80 or 90 years old, and the only thing you remember is Arrow Canyon.
Oh boy.
That's a wild one. Yeah. But that was a fun episode
was fun.
too. And
Yeah.
we did a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It kind of went by. I mean, we started recording maybe November last year, 2023.
Yeah, even just this room, right? Like the things that have.
Oh, the
Colors have
room has
changed.
improved.
Yeah.
Now you'll notice, I don't know if you can see it on camera, there's a beautiful artistic elements here right now. Notice the sun, there's like an earth sun thing happening in the background. It
It's talking to
transitions
us.
to
Yeah.
blue sky. Our fabulous producers made that happen.
And we got some awards in as well.
Are those our awards?
Yeah.
Is that our
So-
Emmy or Oscar or whatever?
Similar. Yes.
Peabody Award?
Yeah, not there yet, but
So yeah, we'll see. It was a good season. Season 4 will be just as good, I'm sure. There's some other cultural things that have been happening at EVS that we should just touch on. Also, one of the great pleasures and privileges that we have at EVS is to enjoy these team weeks where people who are local in the Twin Cities and then anyone else that is a remote employee flies in, and basically you just hang and have a good time for a whole week with your team. So Prahlad, why don't you explain what is that? What is that all about?
It's basically everybody coming together and not doing work for 1 week. I think it's
Unless there's a submittal.
so I was almost about to say like it's 1 week of paid time off, but no, but it was everybody coming in, people you interact with just through Zoom. Like I think it's a good opportunity to kind of to kind of interact with them in person, go for long walks. Because a lot of the time, especially with remote work being more popular and, I think it's important to have that personal touch. And
like, 1 week can go like a long way.
Yes. 1 week. Like I work with Nick Presti, who's remote working out of North Carolina. Like I always talk to him.
North Carolina.
I love that.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, technically it's Carolina, but
Carolina, okay.
I usually like to let people just go.
I like that. That's great. I'm gonna start saying North Carolina. All right.
And but yeah, I speak to him every day, but I've never been on a walk with him. I only see his up to his store, so I didn't even get to meet him. So it was fun. I think the biggest highlight for me was the go-karting.
The pro kart.
Yeah. Everyone says go-karting. And I might remind you that Structural Team invented go-karting basically in EBS.
What, the term or just generally?
No, we were, I think we were the first team to
go to pro kart.
We should go go-karting for sure.
No, it was super fun. I felt like Russ was whooping all of us. And
did you get to double dip? Did you go to 2 carts?
Triple dipped. I was just
triple dipping.
I was just at one last night for the substation week.
Oh, nice.
Well, you get to.
There's a story there.
Oh boy.
Oh yeah.
We'll get into that. But just to go back one step. Now this is all electrical.
This is all no. So electrical
Yeah.
at EVS, the way we do, the electrical is split into design and the studies team.
Right.
Yeah.
So the design team, they have their own.
Yep.
We call it Homecoming. So this year it's called Homecoming, and everybody was in for a week, and it's
For the PV team.
for the
yeah.
PV team.
Yep.
So, and then the studies team has their own thing.
Yeah, we were turned down for Watt.
Yep.
Yeah. But then you also have made shirts that were high voltage.
No. Ours said turned down for Watt.
What?
And then PV team had
Homecoming.
Yes.
on it.
Yes.
And substation has high voltage week, and they have
Which was a play on AC/DC, right?
Yes.
Good for them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think the first 2 days I think the first day was just everybody just chilling and chatting and after work just grabbing beers, and then the next day I think we had a movie night, and my favorite part was the hot wings challenge.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Who won that? Somebody destroyed that.
I think Gayatri destroyed that.
Gayatri?
Destroyed it, I heard.
So
That's funny.
She didn't even break a sweat.
Gayatri's a PV, young recent grad PV engineer that showed everyone else up.
Dude, the pictures of Logan crying.
Yeah.
Logan was crying?
Dude, there was a tear.
Sweat. Yeah. She's the only one who didn't actually sweat in that competition. Everybody else was having a hard time finishing it. She just powered through it.
Here's a funny little tidbit. Dalton, the next day, was eating lunch and put one of the hot sauces or something. And I went into the restroom. He was in there crying.
No, I had a teaspoon, literally just a tad, I just had a touch of it, and then I had to rush. I just went home. I started having a weird experience. Started sweating. I was like, I don't think I should be here, and I just ran away. It was bad.
I was gonna
High on the hot sauce.
I was gonna ask,
people were talking to me. I wasn't responding. At one point, I was like, "Oh,
could have been an allergic reaction."
were people out the next day? I feel like there was a lot of gastro probably the next day. That's.
I know people were fed up with pizza. That it was just so much pizza that we were consuming. So
There is a threshold on pizza. You can't just do it every day. But any other highlights of? The hot wing challenge is
hot wing challenge.
How can you top that?
Yeah, I think outside of that was just catching up with people. I think it was super important to do that. So.
Yeah. Russ, studies week?
So studies week was really successful this year. I planned the week and it was too much stuff. So note to me, future Russ, less is more probably. But yeah, highlights, obviously we did the go-karting, which was a lot of fun. We had 24 racers. So the way that they did it was we did an 80 lap team race.
Yeah.
Which was pretty wild.
Nice.
A lot of fun. We did a big game night here in the office where we did tournaments. And that took a lot more time than I thought. So we did ping pong. Marshall brought in a pinball machine. We did foosball, pool, pickleball, and Mario Kart. And just, I think
That's amazing.
yeah. So I think like that night we were here like 11 o'clock trying to wrap things up. And it was a lot. So I'd say with that, so we had like 2 major nights that we did stuff, took everybody out to lunch, and then we had like a night where it was like, okay, some people are going to go do this, some people are going to go do that. Some people went to the Mall of America, they did some stuff. I took a couple of the fellas and we went to the casino, and I ended up taking the casino for about $750.
Did Dennis go?
No, Dennis didn't go.
Oh,
But Jason was there. Dalton was there. Marshall was there. Man, I feel bound to forget there's other people there. So if I forgot you, I apologize. Man, it was a good time.
Going to the casino did not enter my thought process of like a thing to do during the team week, but I'll note it for next year.
So what's funny is we played blackjack and everybody at least broke even or won.
Yeah.
Nice.
That never happens.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's kind of everything in industry, and in a healthy industry is, good relationships are key. And that's really the number one thing, because everyone, unless you are just independently wealthy, like you need to work.
Yeah.
And work is also something that's, you should feel like you're doing something important. I think that's a common theme here. Everyone in renewable energy works in renewable energy because, holy shit, it's renewable energy. Like what? But beyond that, it's like we also recognize the need to have great relationships, because you can't just go in day out and hate your job, And
yeah, you spend more time at work than anything else in your life.
Yeah, exactly.
So
yeah.
Chris, tell us about the structural.
Yeah.
So
You guys did go-karting, didn't you?
no, not this time. Last year we did. See the OG kart.
But you guys went, you didn't go to Pro Kart, right? You went to the...
We did both. We went to Pro Karts for
Yeah.
SE Team Week, and then we went to the outdoor track in Cokato, which is called Stockholm Karting Center,
Oh, nice.
which I can't.
That's the one I want to go to.
Yeah, I can't recommend that enough. I think that in July, let's try to
Let's do it.
just make
Yeah,
a
we
date.
can do that.
Let's make it happen. I heard June was a little reckless.
He was out for blood.
I heard he kind of like he didn't slow down going in the corners. He bumped somebody to slow him down.
Yeah, it
I
can
mean, to
happen.
be fair, I did that as well, so I don't know.
The outdoor track is, I mean, you can,
faster, right?
yeah, it's like a million times better than the indoor one
Yeah.
for many reasons. But this year, so we don't have a fun name, because I feel like SE Team Week, you already just know. You know what's going down, baby. So we did we went on a boat cruise on Lake Minnetonka.
That's right.
So that was good, very chill. The weather was just good enough to be out there and really enjoy it.
I got invited to that. I just was too tired.
It's a lot. And then what else did we do? I think it was pretty chill in the beginning of the week. It was very just like grab some food, just hang out, be in the office. And then we went to the EVS cabin, which is like, I mean, here's just more great things about EVS. There just happens to be a cabin that is at our disposal to use. Maybe not at our disposal, but you know what I mean? Like, it's available for employees, and the focus is to share that experience with people at EVS. So the cabin is a couple hours north of the Twin Cities in a town called Nisswa in the Brainerd Lakes area, which is kind of I'm from Lakes Country, and definitely Brainerd Lakes area is like the premier lakes country in Minnesota, I would say. And the first day we were there was like 80 degrees in May. So water sports were totally on the table. We rode the e-foil, we did wake surfing. You definitely needed a wetsuit. We cold plunged, and it was cold for sure.
Yeah.
Did you guys do
I heard
tubing
about
as well?
Patricia. I heard about Patricia jumping in and no, it was like, wait, I'll just come get you.
Nope.
Jumped in.
Yeah, Patricia.
It's cold.
Engineer on my team. She just she arrived a little bit later, got a ride out on the jet ski, and just jumped in to get to the boat. And it's like, you could have just gotten off the jet ski into the boat, but I guess that's what she did. So yeah, that was actually my first time to the cabin. I don't know how that took so long, but it did. And it was, for anyone at EVS, I couldn't recommend it enough, because like, this is such an amazing thing that we have access to. And like, I grew up in lakes country. This is like the best lake to be on. Also, like,
It's nice.
get it while it's good.
nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was great. And then I think our listeners are hearing all this and they're like, what the hell? That sounds great. Well, just wait, there's more. And then we've got the all company summer event in July this year. And that's going to be crazy. What happens at the summer event? Who wants to?
So I think we're having it at the same place we had it last year, which is it's that
Highland Hills? Yeah.
Yep. So it's a little ski.
I do miss Bryant Lake, to be fair.
Bryant Lake was fun. There was just a ton of stuff to do.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, and I'm sure it'll happen again this year, there was a big party at my place. Did you go? I can't remember.
No, I was.
So
I missed the entire thing. But anyways,
there was like 80 people that showed up to my house. And
oh, did you guys play? You played football, right?
we played cricket.
Cricket. Oh, okay.
Yeah. And yeah, it was just great. So like at the after party, and I did the same thing for homecoming last year. After homecoming, there was maybe like 40, 50 people that came over. So like where I live, I have a really open back shared area, and there's a park that's got 2 baseball diamonds and
Nice.
tennis courts and basketball hoops, and all sorts of stuff, and playgrounds for kids. And so yeah, we were playing pickleball and playing cricket and basketball and throwing frisbees around and footballs and and
Maybe we should do cricket and get you to play.
I'm ready.
Yeah,
I was
Sohan-
I was a
Sohan
standout
and-
baseball player in high school,
Yeah.
so I could maybe
Nice.
rekindle my youth.
Sohan and Swaraj were kind of leading it up, and yeah, they played like a legit cricket match till it got dark.
Nice.
And then one time we did like a kickball at the. This was actually my favorite after homecoming last year. All the adults were playing. We wanted to play kickball, and they're having a little league practice, so we had to wait till they were done. And then when we're walking over there, a bunch of adults with the kickball ball, and these kids that were at the park were like, "What are you doing? We're gonna go play kickball." Like, "Oh, can I play with you?" And I was like, "Yeah,
Yes.
if you can, it's all good." So we never like 10 or so kids, but like their parents were there like watching, playing kickball with these kids. And it was a blast.
Was it adults versus those kids?
They were playing on both kids.
I was gonna say just flexed on them.
Just bam, yeah, just throw the ball as hard as you can. No, so it's fun. So stuff like that, happens, and yeah. I mean, what was your experience last year for? Oh, you
wasn't here.
I wasn't there. I was busy getting married. But I
Yeah.
think the first time, I think I attended it 2 years back. But it
Bryant
felt
Lake.
like the Bryant Lake. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna say it's like an Ellen show. There's a lot of giveaways.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then I realized there's an art to actually like winning something,
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
And to be fair, like the gifts aren't like cheesy little gifts. I mean, they were giving away some like top dollar,
Yeah.
Yeah.
big screen TVs and gadgets and
Whatnot,
trips and all sorts of stuff. So
Yeah.
Maybe someday there'll be a new car. We'll see.
No.
take
So,
this
yeah.
Tesla.
Take this Tesla. Yeah. It'll be a while on that, but
Yeah.
that's the summer event. That's the season. Any final words? Anything you want to share for the listeners, for me, for Jordan, for Alex, for Dave?
Yeah, I just want to thank everybody, right? I want to thank Jordan for managing this whole thing, and Dave and his crew for always being here and helping us out and getting us just making us look good when we screw up, and just doing a great job and bringing in the artistic lights.
A lot of feng shui in here right now.
I'm very excited for season 4. I think
Yeah.
we'll have some cool changes. I'm really excited for the first episode of season 4. So that's to come.
Yeah, same in the same way, and just kind of thanking you guys for, and it's a first time doing this, is like Russ was saying, like first time behind a camera. It's like it was nerve-wracking in the beginning.
There is no recorded footage of Prahalad before the podcast.
no ever.
He's never had a profile photo on any website.
No, it's but it was. I think they made it comfortable. I think the big thing was, what I really liked was the fact that one, they made it comfortable. Second, we always had a plan. We went in with a plan and kind of executed on it. And third was obviously just learning from all of you guys as well as the guests. So it was a big takeaway for me. So
Yeah, I'll reiterate that. Thanks to Jordan, Dave, the crew, everyone that made it happen. EVS at large for investing in this and thinking this is important. And I definitely think it is, because I mean, this is one of the reasons that I love being here. Like, I want to host a podcast anyway, and but you can get paid to do it. It's even better. Usually you have to do that for free. Usually have to pay to do that.
Yeah.
But big thanks to that, the crew, everyone here, you guys for joining me, of course. And that's it. I think roll on season 4 and go from there. So from me, from Christoph Brun, Russell Hamilton, Prahalad Shivshankaran, the crew here at EVS, thank you so much for listening this season, and we'll see you again for season 4. Before you go, though, subscribe, like, share, comment, share it to your friends, do all those things, and we'll see you next time.